Yeah, nearly ready to go through Salters Lode Lock over to Denver. Amazing.
This man had been struggling to get through this lock for a week due to it being broken and not being able to be opened.
Still waiting. Yep.
We also did not know if we were going to make it through today because the lock was still waiting for the tide, so we had to wait for that. Luckily, it did not take too long. Meanwhile, my sister was trying to get a ladybird out of the water. She cannot get it. A good 10 minutes after this, people above the lock were just continuously talking about random shit. And we just had no clue when the lock was opening. Some guy behind us said that his narrowboat was really good because it was from some random company that none of us have ever heard of. And yeah, after this, we just continued waiting. And waiting. Is what I had to say about it. So we're currently still waiting for the tide to go through so that we can get through the lock. The tide is not right yet, so we'll be waiting for a bit longer to see if we can get through. Yeah, hopefully it's not too long. Finally, after what felt like hours of waiting, the lock was finally beginning to start opening, and everybody was celebrating. This was a massive occasion as this lock had not been opened in 2 weeks due to it being broken, and we were the first boat that was going to be allowed through the lock, and what happened to be the only boat to be allowed through that day due to the very quickly changing tides. Finally, we began to see a tiny sliver of daylight breaking through the bottom of the lock. This was massive as nobody thought the lock was actually going to be able to work. After the lock had then finally reopened, we were then allowed to move through and out onto the open river. We could have very easily been blown away out into the sea, but luckily we had an anchor attached to the boat which we could put down if the engine was not powerful enough. But luckily it turned out to be. As you can see here, after only about 10 minutes, we had made it to the next lock, and after getting through this lock, we would be back on normal rivers, and we would be on the ooze. Currently trying to avoid a sandbank because there's a big one there. This lock was a guillotine lock like the other lock, but luckily it was a lot more reliable and it was actually open. At this point we were being asked for papers, which made the captain of the boat, who was also my dad, feel like we were moving into a different country. For some reason, the captain of the boat thought it would be a good idea to crash into the side of the wall and hit his internet mast on the side of the wall as well. As you can see here, after only about a short amount of time, this lock was auto opening as well. It was a lot more quicker than the last one because it wasn't as big. After this, we had made it to the next port, where the boat would be staying for the night. This felt like a completely different place, as the sun was out and there was actually stuff around here. The next morning it was also very good weather, and this is the day that we would start and complete the final voyage down to Ely.
What are you doing? I'm making breakfast. Yes. So we're having sausages. They don't look very nice at the moment because I've only just put them on, right? Frying sausages because the air fryer doesn't work because we are on 12 volt and that would kill the batteries. So we're frying everything. Gonna have beans and we're gonna put the kettle on the gas to have tea, but not until later, not until the food's done.
Finally, the food was made. The food was actually very nice, and I'd rate it probably a 9 out of 10. Amazing food, especially when it was cooked with very limited resources. After we had made the food and had a cup of tea and also eaten the food, we then began to set off for Ely, leaving the port where we had only stayed for one night. The port was very nice, but yeah. The Ouse has loads of little rivers coming off of it, and this was the first one that we passed. I don't think it was that significant, as I can't remember the name, and it probably didn't even have one. After a while, we passed the Denver Cruising and Boating Club, which had some nice boats there. Here I've got some videos of a duck that was absolutely terrified of the boat and probably trying to get away as quick as possible, as it probably thought that we were about to hit it. That is a heron, and it is flying past the side of the boat. Yes, I have amazing commentary. This bridge here carried the A10 road above it, and this was the road that went into a little town called Littleport. And this is where, on the outskirts, we stopped to eat our lunch, which you will see in probably a few minutes. Also, just outside of Littleport, we also passed by the River Lark, which went all the way down to Lakenheath, and passed between Lakenheath and Mildenhall. This is where loads of aliens were seen, but I did not see any. That is probably because I scared them all away. This was me trying to explain that there was nothing here, but it was too windy for you to hear me. There was also a train line that ran alongside the river, but there was no trains running on the train line today because it was being done for repairs, as you'll see towards the end of the video. Yeah. Oh, really? Well, yeah, we'll eat something here, but...
You don't have to eat, but I say once I've started making something, we'll get hungry if I start making
Yeah, probably.
Let's have to chop those, hot water.
Very soon you are about to see a man shaking a box. I have no words.
Stop it, mate. My head is probably purple. This is where the magic, this is where the flavour comes out.
Right after shaking the box, the same man thought it would be a good idea to fly his drone around the boat, narrowly avoiding a RAF base and the train line. This could have ended very badly, but luckily it did not. The river then began to change and get more scenery, as it was adding loads of trees to the bank of the river instead of a road, a train line, and a bit of grass. Past a few more tributaries of views, and for some reason a random hay bale was in the water. No one knew who put it there, but probably a tractor fell in the river and the hay bale obviously went off the tractor. Here we get the first sight of our destination and the first sight of the town of Ely, and we can also see the cathedral in the distance. Somehow this place is called a city due to the massive structure that it has, but it is not, because it just isn't. Some guy who thought he was Max Verstappen went zooming by on his boat. We then just continued on the journey like normal. We then arrived in the town of Ely, and you'll see a time lapse of us going through the town. Get ready to watch it. made it through the town, we then attempted to park in what was only described as the worst port we had ever parked at, and this is us arriving at it now.
What do we need to do? Yeah, pull us
The
now.
man then hopped off the boat and began to become a horse and pull the boat along the bank so it could get parked up and we could get off the boat, even though that would be tricky as there was no actual place to get off the boat.
So what was happening? Was it is it not deep enough?
What do you mean?
I'm talking to John.
Can't really get off here.
Right, Jill, can you do us a favour and can I have some pens? They're hanging around. They're in the back.
How am I meant to get off?
Owen, just wait till we've stopped and then I'll tell you when you can disembark.
After we'd finally got off the boat, we went on a walk and went over a bridge, and we also got a nice view of the cathedral on the bridge as well. We also then found out why we could not see any trains on the train line today, and it was because that big orange train over there was laying down tracks to make, obviously, the line usable, as, well, trains cannot drive on a road because they are trains and they're not cars. Again, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I certainly enjoyed making it, and overall it was a very good experience. And also, hope you like and subscribe.